And good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday Afternoon Qso-Vlog Network. This is a directed network, and I am net control. If at any time during this net should any emergency arise, please notify net control, and we'll stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio and being all that you can be. That's what our Qso-Vlog network is all about. Trying to help people achieve the best sounding station possible. Thanks for dropping by. FYI, my background is 50 years in commercial broadcasting, where a lot of big bucks are spent on audio processing equipment and getting it set up correctly to get the loudest, best sounding station possible. Well, long story short, when I became a ham radio operator, I could hear immediately a large discrepancy in on-air technical proficiency. A lot of stations were running with very poor mic equalization, very muddy, with little articulation. And as I continued to work stations, I realized most of the stations were also running very low average peak modulation, many around 30% of average peak modulation. So with my background, I felt I could help, or at least try. I knew that most modern-day ham transceivers did have enough onboard processing equipment to be able to overcome most all of the problems. So it would just be a matter of developing a generic dynamic range setup procedure and then adjusting the onboard EQ gear. And so I started the Qso-Vlog network with the phrase, "If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout." And today we're currently featuring over 2,300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. And you can access these recordings by going to YouTube and doing a call letter search for KC9VKV followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor followed by the word logbook. And we also have a new series called KC9VKV Highlights. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. These are some of our less technical and more human nature philosophical kinds of QSOs. That's KC9VKV Highlights on a YouTube search. Both KC9VKV Logbook and KC9VKV Highlights are segments of our main YouTube homepage of Jim's Radio Story, where we celebrate a 50-year career in commercial broadcasting. A 50-year journey from a 5-watt pirate radio station as a 12-year-old to production director of a major 50,000-watt AM broadcast facility. And the thing that makes this truly a unique story is I have the actual audio masters from all along the way. Our mission statement for the Qso-Vlog network is to establish a higher technical level of radio transmissions of the human voice by the intelligent utilization of available electronics in current amateur radio transceivers. Our setup, while generic in nature, converts the average 10 dB dynamic range transmitter with an average 30% of peak modulation to a much fuller 3 dB dynamic range with an average 80 to 85% of peak modulation. This substantial boost in audio transmit level is extremely beneficial in high noise levels and heavy QRM. It allows you to punch through when others fail. The second part of our transmitter setup has to do with proper mic equalization. We're looking to optimize the transmitted voice for a higher degree of intelligibility through the use of EQ patterns that bring out the articulation aspects of the human voice. Again, why need to hear the voice if you can't understand the words? Also this afternoon on the receive side, we're running 4 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Virginia. Now the audio from these 4 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also on this selector is our local receiver audio. And today, our local receiver is running 3 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one aimed at 0 degrees, one aimed at 90 degrees, and the number 3 is aimed at 134 degrees. These are run as a directional scanner array with a manual voting system 6-position rotary selector. Also today on the transmit side, we'll be running our NOSWR specially oriented resonant dipole antenna. One leg of this resonant dipole runs broadside to Montreal, Canada. The other leg runs broadside to Miami, Florida. As we were constructing our station, our mantra was 20 over from Montreal to Miami with a hotspot through the Carolinas. And although conditions may vary, the general performance of this antenna supports its mission. Also today, we'll be running our input source indicator. So when we switch from an internet SDR receiver to our local receiver, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube Qso-Vlog video. And as we come together for another Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network, let us pause just a moment for the amateur radio operator's prayer. Lord, we pray for clear 20 over S9 communications today. Let all our transmissions fill the air and reach their destinations QSA5 to be understood by all. And as we pray for good radio conditions, let us also pray for good human conditions. During this time of pandemic that has challenged us all, we pray that you will protect everyone, especially our elderly. And also, Lord, we seek your divine intervention to bring peace to a very divided United States. As we go through a very conflicting time in America's history, with dark clouds all around, we pray that you will reduce life's daily political QRM between our brothers and sisters. And through your love and guidance, show us the way to find peace and harmony. Help us to communicate with one another 20 over S9. Thank you, Lord, and God bless and protect America. Amen. To continue, since this part of the band has many nets trying to operate in a very confined area, I would appreciate all stations checking into our Qso-Vlog net to keep their bandpass to no wider than 100 to 2900. And again, please, no wider than 100 to 2900. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. And now, let's check in and see if Charlie K1GZL is on frequency to bring us up to date on the latest 40-meter band propagation. Charlie's QTH is up north in northern New Hampshire, near the Canadian border. Charlie, got a copy?
Near the Canadian border. Charlie, got a copy?
Yes, Jim, I found you down here on 185. Yeah, I'm copying you S7 to S9, very, very Q5, and it's light rain falling. We've had about 3 inches of rain in the last 24 hours. 3 inches of rain, and over half, about 2/3 of the leaves are off the trees. Are you copying, Jim? K1GZL.
Charlie, I've got you 35 over on Milford, Roger.
I've got you 35 over on Milford, Roger.
Okay, real fine there. I was going to be talking to Captain Mike this morning. Captain Mike this morning at 11 a.m., but unfortunately the plane had to have mechanical work done, and so they had to Sacramento. They had to fly in some experts from Miami, Florida, to Sacramento, California, to work on it. So I've got a schedule with him in about 50 minutes. 50 minutes, around 14:22, on this day in October 14. But here's a little bit of Captain Mike recorded recently. Let's see if I've got it.
We're right between O'Neill, Nebraska, and Sioux City, Iowa, so very close. And we're at usual. We haven't changed our altitude. We're still at 35. We've about 1,070 miles to go. But temp up here right now is minus 54. But yeah, no, great job being on you there. And let me see, John, B1GWW, are you in there, John?
Okay.
City here. And, well, you shouldn't be smelling anything if the guy's doing his job there. Should be okay for you. But anyway, all right, we'll talk to you later, and hopefully we'll hear you in about 30 minutes. K1GZL, K84 Whiskey Charlie, we're clear.
You're at least 20 over. Oh, okay. Roger. That was Captain Mike about a week or so ago. Back to you, Jim. But boy, it is rainy. The visibility is maybe 500 feet, no more, and the temperature is still very mild. It's up in the low and middle 50s. Yes, KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger, Charlie. Well, I was just curious now if you have much rain. I know you're kind of on a slant there on the side of that hill. Do you have any possibilities of any soil moving down the hill with rain?
No, not really, Jim. Because there's so much brush and different things. I've never seen that happen. However, if there was very little vegetation, then the problem would exist. It could cause a lot of trouble. But right now, everything is absolutely drenched out there, and I'm hoping to catch you next week. Next week at the usual time. I was surprised to hear you down here on 85 KC. Maybe this is a better frequency. Gosh knows. KC9VKV, K1GZL, Charlie at Clarksville, Northern New Hampshire.
Roger, Charlie. Well, I've had to slide down to this frequency once before, and it worked. So apparently, folks were having the frequency busy up on 7188, and they weren't sure exactly when they were going to be finished. So we just went to 7185, and seemed to be working. Roger.
Roger.
Yeah, Roger. So whatever works for you, Jim, whatever works for you certainly will work for me. And I'll make sure that I'll just tune a little bit up or down and see where you end up. Okay, Jim. Thank you very much for letting me come on here with you and keep up the good work you always do and helping the fellow amateurs. So that is for sure. Hopefully, we'll see you next week. KC9VKV, K1GZL. Always a pleasure.
Roger, Charlie 73, sir. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. Thanks for checking in, as always. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. My name is Jim, KC9VKV, better known in some circles as Dr. VKV, and we are recording now live till 5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We'll post this recording up on YouTube in the next couple of days. So when you go to YouTube, just do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That's KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That will take you to our Qso-Vlog page, where we're currently featuring over 2,300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. This recording will be cut number 1 in that series. We also have a new series called KC9VKV Highlights. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. These are some of our less technical and more human nature, philosophical kinds of QSOs. You'll have to check it out. KC9VKV Highlights on a YouTube search. Well, without further ado, hopefully folks have been able to follow us down to 7185. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Romeo Lima Bravo.
Let me move along here. Romeo Lima Bravo. What's the first part of that call?
Whiskey 4.
Whiskey 4, Romeo Lima Bravo. And what's the name there?
Name is Robert. We used to talk on the local repeater here in Louisville. I forgot your first name, John, I believe?
Close. Jim, Juliet, India, Mike. Roger?
Okay, Jim. You remember me? I used to hang around with JR.
Yes, sir, I do. And what you've been running much AF, HF, or just on the 2-meter stuff?
Yeah, mostly HF. Yeah, I don't, there's really nobody on there anymore, it doesn't seem like, or whenever I get on the local repeaters, there isn't very much traffic anymore. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Well, I only usually run this on Friday afternoons from 3:30 till 5, and we're usually on 7188, but had to make some compromises today. Some folks had the frequency already, and were determined that they were going to keep it and not make room for a regularly scheduled net, so we moved down a little bit. No problem. So good to hear you, Robert. If you'd be interested in our setup procedure, it starts with you verifying that you're in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode, and if you're not sure about that, just make a note to check at your leisure that you are in that 100 to 2900 transmit code, Roger. The frequency range 100 to 2900, Roger.
Copy that. And you're up on YouTube, I believe you said?
Yes, sir, Robert. We're recording now live till 5, and then we post it up on YouTube by noon tomorrow, and so then you can check in to hear your audio. Just go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook. That will take you to this recording, and it'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. Roger?
Okay, copy that. I believe, aren't you just right over in Indiana?
Yeah, over in New Albany, Roger. Now, we're about halfway through that setup procedures. About your compressor engaged at a 3 is the first actual part of our setup, if you would be interested. Compression on at a 3. It's not something that you ever hear on the air, but it helps us arrive at our 3 dB dynamic range setup transmit frequency range at the end. So we were looking for a 3 dB dynamic range, so we move, unprocessed audio is about 30% average peak modulation. So after our setup, you'll be 80 to 85% with crystal clear words. Roger?
Okay, copy that. Well, Jim, you are going a little bit over my head there, exactly what you're talking about. But I guess we're working ground scatter.
Yes, sir. Well, once you get that compressor engaged at a 3, then we move to the ALC, and with mic gain in hand. And as we say the magic word audio, spoken just like you would speak any other word in a QSO, don't stress it, just say it, audio, and adjust your mic gain until your ALC is running at 2/3. So it's a 2/3 reading on your ALC as you speak the word audio and adjust your mic gain. Roger?
Okay, copy that. I'm not going to do that right now, Jim. I don't really know all the things, all what's going on with this radio right now, but I'll look into it.
Roger, Robert. Just to take note then, and crank in later as you choose. Good to hear you. Haven't heard you in a long time. I would say 73 over that way. Roger.
Okay, Jim. Likewise, haven't heard you in a while either. I recognize your voice in there, and I said I know that. So anyway, I just figured I'd say hi to you, and I'll go ahead and clear with W4RLB.
Roger there, Robert. And just FYI, I'm looking at your audio on a VU meter, contact to my receiver, and I can tell the ballistics of your modulation. You are fairly well unprocessed now, so you could use that setup and get you a lot louder with clearer words actually. So it's compression on 3, move to ALC, say the word audio, adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is running 2/3, and you'll be at a 3 dB dynamic range. And maybe then just a little touch of more treble EQ if you have that capability with that radio. So anyway, let me say 73, Robert. Good to hear you in there, sir, and we'll catch you later if you get a chance to join us next Friday.
Okay, copy that.
W1BXI.
W3 for you as well. W4RLB, clear.
Roger, Roger. Robert, station calling. This is KC9VKV, Friday afternoon, Qso-Vlog net. Go ahead.
KC9VKV, this is Whiskey 4, Baker, X-ray, W4BXI, over.
W4BX, and what was the last?
I as in Indiana, over.
BXI, is that Roger?
Roger, got it.
Roger, Roger, and what's the name there?
The name is John. I'm in a retirement community. Over.
Retirement community. What are you doing there, John?
Well, I'm an old guy. Listen to 1953. License first. 19. Over.
Yes, sir. John, I hear you, sir. And whereabouts is that retirement community? What's their location?
What's their location?
Well, typically I'm seated in Asheville, North Carolina, but I'm internet through a transceiver, Elecraft transceiver in Mentone, Alabama, northeast Alabama. Over.
Yes, I recall very well. And John, what radio is that in Alabama? I forgot exactly what radio that is you're running down there.
That is an Elecraft K3S, and it's
Alrighty, John, I copy a K3S. And that's your remote station down in Alabama. That's a Roger?
Remote station down in Alabama. That's a Roger?
Roger that. So,
okay, so I'm looking at your audio. It looks pretty good, sir. You're up there. Looks to be maybe about a 3 dB dynamic range. Why don't you come back and tell me about your Alabama, if you know, tell me about your Alabama antenna system down there. I'm stuck on transmit. I'm sorry, I'm stuck on transmit. I'm sorry, John. I copied you something about transmit. What was that? W4BXI is KC9VKV. You copy?
Barefoot, and how's the audio, please? Over.
John, I think we doubled some of that. Can you hear me okay?
I
forgot you great, and I went off frequency a little bit. I hear you great on 7185. Over.
Yes, sir. Well, usually we're on 7188, but we had some folks that just were determined to stay on the frequency, and they didn't know when they were going to wrap up. So we kind of read between the lines and decided to move down a little bit, give them some room. So we're on 7185 this afternoon as opposed to 7188. John, your audio sounds pretty good, sir. What I was looking for, hopefully, was listening to you with a little audio. If you could tell me about 10 seconds worth of your antenna system down in Alabama, I would be able to hear your audio.
Very good. It's a loop antenna for 80 meters, fed with lateral line, and this is a Heil mic into a little mixer going into a Windows computer. I can play with the audio here a little bit, but I'm kind of scared to because it seems to work. So how is that? Over.
Yes, sir. Not a lot of bottom end on the audio, but that's just fine because, you're looking for intelligibility and you've got a lot of things going on, and I think that's just fine EQ, just exactly where you are. It's very intelligible, and you might be able to use just a little more top end, but, if it's a big thing, you're really close where you are. Roger?
It's a big thing. You're really close where you are. Roger?
Sounds good and important. All right, roger that. I can add a little high or low if you got a moment to see if that's better. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'm looking for about 2 dB boost on your treble EQ. 2.7K would be the ideal frequency, bandwidth of 4. Depending on what your capabilities are, 2.7K bandwidth of 4, Roger, plus 2 clicks from where you are.
4, Roger, plus 2 clicks from where you are.
All right, I can't measure that, but let me give you just a tad more highs. There's a little more high, a little more. I can't measure that, but I trust your ears. Over.
Yes, sir. Just beautiful. Just where you are right there. Get the Gorilla Tape and taper it down. And there was a station in there from Florida said you were sounding mighty good down that way.
A station in there from Florida said you were sounding mighty good down that way.
I heard it. Florida, please come back.
Florida station, you still have a copy on John?
Station, you still have a copy on John?
Watching the YouTube, and that's real education all by itself. I'm going to put the Gorilla Tape on this and let other people get at your wonderful service to ham radio. Thank you in 73s. This is John, W4BXIV of Mentone, Alabama. Over.
Roger, John. Just beautiful. Can't even tell it's a remote station. Just fine, beautiful. Yeah, get that to Gorilla Tape and taper it down, sir. 73, and we'll have this uploaded on YouTube by noon tomorrow. So you go to YouTube, do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That will take you to this recording, and it will be cut number 1 in a series of 2,300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. And again, we'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow.
Recordings. And again, we'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow.
W4BXI, clear.
Roger, BXI, 73, sir. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net, running on 7185 this afternoon, as opposed to our normal 7188. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. Kilowatt Alpha 4, Uniform Sierra Alpha.
Uniform Sierra Alpha, come back with your call sign slowly phonetically.
Back with your call sign slowly phonetically. Roger, it's Kilowatt Alpha 4, a Uniform Sierra Alpha, the name's Frank, Foxtrot Romeo Alpha November Kilo. I'm located in Lexington, Kentucky, Roger.
Roger, Frank, in Lexington, Kentucky, and you're about to blow me away. I'm running currently my Atlanta, Georgia SDR, and you're probably, it looks to be about 20 over down that way, Roger.
Probably, it looks to be about 20 over down that way, Roger.
Well, that's a good sign. Where are you located at?
I'm located up around Louisville. I'm just across the Ohio River from Louisville in Indiana. Roger.
From Louisville in Indiana. Roger.
Roger, not far from me. Hey, you're a friend of mine. We're probably a little bit close, but let me switch antennas. I just put up a new vertical a few days ago. I haven't got it completed yet, but I got it partial way up, and I'm going to cut it off. Let me quit talking, and when I come back on, I'll be on the other antenna. Okay, I'm on the other antenna now, so tell me what's doing.
All right, doesn't seem to be quite as hot as the first antenna. That's as it goes as far as Atlanta, Georgia. Now, if you would like to do that again, let me switch to my local antenna, which, we're up around Louisville. So let me see if I've got a pretty good copy on my local antenna. Come back and talk to me just for a minute, John.
Okay, KA4 USA Frank in Lexington. This is antenna number 2. This is antenna number 2. Give you time to
look at your meter there. Now I'm going to switch it back over. When I come back, I'll be on the other antenna. Okay, now we switched over. KA4 USA, Frank in Lexington, Kentucky. Can we have a report on that?
Yes, sir. That antenna is about 4 dB hotter than the other antenna as it relates to me in Louisville. So I'm on my Louisville antenna, and let's see, what am I? I'm on a zero targeted 10-foot vertical magnetic loop. And like I say, that antenna that you were on last was about 4 dB hotter than the antenna before that, as it relates to Louisville. Roger?
Roger, and that's normal because, like I said, the vertical is usually better for a little bit longer distance. I still got a bunch of, but it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, I think.
Yes, sir, Frank. Well, I just went around my SDRs, and you're hot everywhere. You are hot all across the country, from Arlington to Georgia to Pennsylvania to Rochester. It's just hot, Roger.
Roger. Well, that's not always bad, is it?
Absolutely not, Frank. Just beautiful. What radio is it you're running, sir?
I'm running a FTDX10. I got a little bit of I do things a little bit funny. I don't believe in owning something if you don't use it, okay? And what I mean by that is that I'm on an FTDX10 now. I use it on a 40 through 6 meters, and I drive a ACOM amplifier about 700 watts right now. And then I've got a 991A, and I have it hooked up for a 75 meters, and I drive an SB220, and I run it somewhere between 800 and 1,000 watts at nighttime. And so I flip 3 switches, and I change radios, I change amplifiers, I change bands, and if I want to, change antennas. But it's kind of fun that way. I guess I bought a 101D and had two screens on there. I could do that a little bit easier. Roger?
Yes, sir. Now, Frank, I'll give you a suggestion, sir. Be sure and label your leads that go to those switches. Be very careful and deliberately label those so you don't get ever confused. So mark your leads really well. Roger?
Roger, yeah, because that can easily happen, like I said, after you get our age anyway, but I'm still pretty sharp, but a little bit of negligence, you could do some big trouble, but it's fun just to do that, flip those 3 switches, and change bands, radios, and amplifiers. So I have a little fun with it. I like to experiment around, stuff like that.
Yes, sir. That's the neat part about it. When it's right, it's just beautiful. I have my main receiver is set up so that I can run my dipole antenna plus these 3 vertical magnetic loop antennas, and but it also has to have a lockout so that some of these antennas are disconnected when we're transmitting. At least we have problems with RF coming back on the receive antennas and doing some bad things. So we do mute those antennas when we transmit. Roger?
Roger. I switched back over to the vertical, so it probably dropped down a little bit. Does the audio sound pretty decent on both antennas?
Yes, sir, and your audio looks to be about 3 dB dynamic range, which is exactly what we normally shoot for, which means that your average percent of peak modulation is running between 80 and 85%, so very nice there, and your audio EQ curve is very intelligible. Not a bunch of stuff down the bottom end, but, it sounds very intelligible. Roger?
Roger. Well, I've got both of those. That's something else like that. I guess I'm a little different. I got both those radios set up the same, and I've also got 2 different mics, but they're the same mic. I use the Yaesu M90 equipment, if you can, and so I've got 2 studio mics on, if you can, and so I've got 2 studio mics on booms for 2 different radios. So I like this. It's just a fun thing.
Yes, sir, Frank. Thing is, you want to be sure that when you switch mics, not all mics are created equal or the same. And sometimes when you switch mics, you need to go to your ALC and double check real quick the audio level on your ALC, which, we can do that. First we suggest running about a 3 dB dynamic range compression, about a number 3 on a compression, something you'll never really hear on the air, but it helps us get to that 3 dB point at the end. And then the ALC setup is really simple. It's just transmit and the mic, and you say the magic word audio, and adjust your mic gain until your ALC is running 2/3. And it's such accurate. We used to say mid-scale to 2/3, but this way is so easy to do at just the 2/3 level. And the word is audio, and adjust your mic gain until your ALC is 2/3. Roger.
And adjust your mic gain until your ALC is 2/3. Roger. Roger. Yeah, that's what I do. And of course, on the 991A, I have to turn it up a little bit to get the ALC where it's supposed to be. I mean, there's some fine tuning, even though I use the same microphone.
Yes, sir. Well, like I say, your audio is just beautiful. 3 dB dynamic range, 80 to 85% average peak modulation. Roger.
80 to 85% average peak modulation. Roger. Roger, Roger. I'm going to let you go. I don't want to tie up your net, but I want to get somebody on there that had a pretty good ear on them and know a little bit about it and see what those antennas were doing. And I'm going to be happy with the vertical. Like I said, I got to put me down some more radios, but I'm just on the beginning stage.
Roger, Frank. I just was tuning around there trying to get you back on my local antenna. You ceased transmitting about the time I got back there. So anyway, we'll be posting this recording up on YouTube by noon tomorrow. So if you go to YouTube and do a call in a search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, it'll take you right to this recording. Roger?
Roger. Thank you so much. And you have a good day. You're doing a good job, and you're appreciated by many people, I'm sure. So thank you again. 73. Kilo Alpha 4, a Uniform Sierra Alpha. That's not a vanity call. It's issued in 1972.
Excellent, Frank. Beautiful call sign. 73. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. My name is Jim. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
November 9, Kilo Delta Bravo.
There's a November 9 station. Come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign.
Hey, Jim, this is November 9. Kilo Delta Bravo, November 9 Kilo Delta Bravo, and the name here is Eric, Echo Romeo India Charlie, and we're located up I-65 from you up here in Indianapolis. Over.
Roger, Eric, up in Indy. And what radio are you running today, Eric?
I have an ICOM 7300, just from the standard wave into an inset half wave. Probably the day I had to drop the map down, so it's probably no more than 15 feet of it.
Roger, Eric. I was just tuning around there trying to find a better path. If you would, why don't you give me 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system, and let me look around and see if I can find a better path for us.
Okay, very good. Like I said, it's an inset half wave for 80 meters. Inset half wave, no more than 15 feet above the ground today because of the winds we're getting up here. I had to drop it down. Didn't want to risk breaking a mast or something there. Just on some carbon fiber mast here in the backyard with no trees hanging on. So that's what we're running for an antenna. It seems to be doing okay. And over.
Yes, sir, Eric. I'm copying you best on my local antenna. I've been around the horn there, and we run 4 internet SDR receivers, but you're hottest on my local antenna. If you would be interested in a setup procedure, it starts with you double checking to be sure you're in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode. And if you're not sure, just make a note to check that at your convenience there. We want to be at that transmitter to be in the best that it can be, and that would be in the 100 to 2900 bandpass mode. Roger?
QSL. I'm looking at it right now. I'm in that menu, and I'm 100 to 2900. The compression's at +3, and bass is set at 0, and treble at +3. Over.
Yes, sir. Okay, let's move to your ALC with the mic gain in hand. And as you say the magic word audio and stretch it out, audio, and use your voice like a signal generator, I want you to adjust your mic gain until your ALC reading is 2/3. So that's transmit with mic gain in hand and adjust your ALC for 2/3 reading. Roger?
QSL, here we go. Audio. Audio. Okay, yeah, we're just a little over half there, over.
All right, maybe say it again. Not quite stress that hard. What are we saying is don't stress it, just say it like you would say a normal word in QSO, Roger?
Okay, audio. It's hanging about halfway up on the ALC, over.
Roger. We want 2/3, and you can set that real easy by that word. Just stretch that audio out and then adjust it for 2/3. Roger?
Okay, QSL, audio. Okay, there we go, about 2/3, over.
Yes, sir, looking good. Now, why don't you tell me about 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system so I can hear your audio.
Okay, like I said, just have the one antenna, the end-fed half wave, 8010, and the end-fed half wave here on the side of the house, goes into the backyard and bends into an L across the back fence up about, right now it's about 15 feet, over.
All righty, and Eric, what's your EQ pattern at the moment, your tone controls? What are those settings?
I have the bass set at 0 here on the 7300 and the treble at +3.
Alrighty, try advancing your bass to a +2. You're a little shallow on the bottom end, and maybe we can give you a little more form and basic audio curve. So +2 clicks additional bass EQ. Roger, Roger.
Okay, we're on +2 right now. +2 right now, over.
Looking good there. And I would go one more click plus on your treble to a 4 +4 clicks on treble EQ. Roger?
Alrighty, there's a +4 treble right there, over.
Yes, sir. I think that's just beautiful. And so why don't you give me about 10 seconds and tell me the thing you like best about your 7300.
I have to say the receiver on the 7300 is outstanding. And especially in a high noise environment, especially with power lines all over the place, I can dial it in pretty good, and you know, you can really hear people out in the mud most of the time. So it's just a grand receiver, over.
Yes, sir, I agree. I have one standing by. I'm going to be. I use it every once in a while, but not every day. Roger, Roger.
Oh, QSL. I did want to make a comment, Jim. I'm fascinated by the super outbreak of 1974, the tornado outbreak. I'm a weather geek, I guess, so to speak, and I listened to your special that you had from HAS back years ago about your focus coverage that day, and I thought that was just awesome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We had some tremendous people on the air at the time, and I had a very astute general manager, Hugh Barr, who authorized the consistent recording, Aircheck recording for 2 days actually, and then we got all those tapes and just had a rough script. A lot of it was rough script, and some of it was scripted pretty heavy. But we just put it together and really had a ball with it. Roger.
Well, I'll tell you, it was outstanding. It was just like it was sitting there listening to it happen live. It was pretty good. I was pretty young back then and don't remember that day very well, but it's really with that Xenia and Ohio and Indiana here, a very, very interesting day. Over.
Yes, sir. I found the most interesting part was when the tornado actually went right over the Weather Bureau, and they had to bail out.
Yeah, no, that's one you don't hear every day. Yeah, when I did Skywarn up here in they actually have a break room at the reason for safe room that they run into, and we've had to do that a couple of times.
Yes, sir. I'm starting to lose you a little bit there. I could probably find you on another SDR. I've been using my local antenna. Come back and talk to me just for a second. Let me see if I can find a hotter SDR. Roger?
Okay. Very good there. Like I said, I appreciate that. And interesting from back then. As I say, radio was radio, too. So, KC9VKV from Midnight KDB. Thank you.
Roger. Eric, it sounds like you might be able to help in our setup procedure, if you would. Your audio increased dramatically there. Our setup, again, we start with that premise of being in the wide mode 100 to 2900, and then your compression on at a 3. It's a token amount, something you'll never hear on the air, but it helps us make our 3 dB dynamic range at the end. So compression on at a 3, and once we do that, then we move to our ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you say the magic word audio, stretch out that audio, use it as a signal generator, and adjust your ALC until it's reading 2/3 by way of a mic gain control. Roger?
Okay, let's look here again. Actually, the ALC is hitting towards the limit here, so I better back off the mic gain a little bit. Audio, yeah, that's better. Yeah, we're all good here now, Jim. I appreciate that. Help me set up the hand mic. As before, when I talked to you a couple of years ago, we did the aisle mic, but I haven't got that set back up yet.
Yes, so you're on the stock 7300 hand mic?
Affirmative.
Roger, and I guess we've gone through the best way to use that mic is pull it to the corner of your lips and actually touch the corner of your lips and talk across it. That will minimize mouth noise. Roger?
Okay, let's try it this way. How's that? Over.
Yes. Just beautiful there. Roger?
Okay, let me, actually the ALC went up when I did that, so I'm throttling it back here. Here we go. Yeah, we're about 2/3 right there. Over.
Yes, sir. Nice and full. And like I say, we are recording now. So if you want to hear your radio, if you go to YouTube and do the call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording, and we'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Roger, QSO. I appreciate that, Jim. And let you go. Got to get running myself. I got some stuff to do, but I do appreciate the help with the setup, and I'll tell you what's going to help me greatly on the air later. I appreciate it. Over.
Yes, sir. Just beautiful. Get the Gorilla Tape out and tape her down, sir. And thanks for the thoughts on the HAS Tornado show. Appreciate that. It's one of our best shows. We get about 21,000 hits on that, I think. Somewhere up there. Anyway, yeah, and we have a lot of other stuff. Come to think of it, about our main page, Jim's Radio Story. We have 2,600 shows on that. Mother always said to be sure and get the master, and so in most cases we were able to get the master on a lot of productions that we did. We have a lot of full-length music concerts and stuff. And gosh, as I look at it now, I see my ALC. I'm sorry, I'm working on my gosh, that's interesting. I am looking at my Milford SDR. It has a wrong frequency, but it won't shift off. All right, so let me get the right frequency. And I got to remember what the right frequency is, because it's different today. 7185. I think that's right. Audio check 1 2 3 4 5. Milford check 1 2 3 4 5.
Check 1 2 3 4 5.
Yay! All right, Milford's back amongst us. 73, Eric. Have yourself a great afternoon, beautiful weekend, and if you get a chance, join us next Friday. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. We are recording now live till 5. So if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
November 1, Lima, Quebec, N1LQ.
November 1, LQ, Roger, Roger, and what's the name there?
Roger, Roger, and what's the name there?
Who did you come back to, Jim?
Yes, sir. What is the name, LQ?
What is the name, LQ?
Yeah, this is N1LQ. Hello, Jim. My name is Dave, December Able Victory Echo. We're located a bit north of Boston, Massachusetts. I'm hearing you variable today, but on average about a 5 and 8, over.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm pedaling just as hard as I can, and Mother Nature is helping from time to time. Dave, what radio are you running, sir?
Dave, what radio are you running, sir?
Jim, I'm running a radio you probably have never heard. It is built in Bulgaria in limited quantities. It's called an RGO-ONE, RGO-1, designed and built by a Bulgarian ham LZ2JR, QSL.
Roger, Roger. Now, what's the output power of that radio?
It is on phone about 40 watts, 40 watts, over.
Roger. Looks pretty good. Does it have a compressor on it?
It does not at this time. It's an unfinished project. There is a speech processor that will be coming along in a bit, but right now it's simply being modulated by a $5 electric condenser element, and it has no EQ capability. So basically what you hear is what you get, over.
Yes, sir. Dave, now does it have an ALC reading? Can you go to your ALC reading on that?
Running the ALC at about 2/3 right now.
Yes, sir. That's what we were suggesting, 2/3. What does your mic level control say?
It goes from 0 to 10. I'm running it at about a 4 right now, QSL.
Yes, sir. Okay. What I would suggest, Dave, is how close are you working that mic?
It's a headset, and I'm working it at about 4 inches from my mouth.
Okay, I would take that boom mic. If you have any adjustment at all on that boom mic, I would run it straight out as far as it'll go, and then at the last minute take a 90. I would run that boom just as far in front of you as it can go, and then make a 90-degree turn at the last minute.
Okay, we just did that, and there have been reports that this particular combination may be a bit too hot, so I dialed back the mic gain by 1 increment, over.
Yes, sir. Sounds really, really nice now. Before it was sounded like it was a little too hot going into your ALC. Now it just sounds like it has life. You're running about a 3 dB dynamic range, so you're very loud, but the words are just crystal clear. They're not sound like they're even beginning to bend, Roger.
Oh, thank you very much for that suggestion, and I think that will probably serve me well. On dynamic headset microphones, I generally run them pretty close because they have less sensitivity, but it takes me a bit to get used to the electric condenser, which is generally a hot microphone as far as output sensitivity. So thank you for that comment. I appreciate it greatly, over.
Yes, sir, and be careful. Just in passing, I'll give you a word of information here. When you get down to a level like a 1 on your mic gain, just think about that as being maybe too hot for the radio, and you want to maybe back off the mic or put a pad in the mic so you can keep that volume up there at around a 4 or a 5 where it normally would be. And I just mentioned that in passing because I did have this situation I have with my stuff is I have a bunch of audio stuff, long leads and high levels going to low levels and stuff, and I have found that you want to try to keep that output going into the radio at about a 4 or 5 mic level if you're using a mic input, and that will keep it well above the distortion level, or should I say well below the distortion level, and you run into that down around 1 or a 0.8 of the mic gain control, Roger.
Roger, Jim, that's a great suggestion. And I've always tried to run output levels, certainly not at maximum and not at minimum, somewhere in the 50%, maybe 60% range in all regards. So I appreciate that very much. I've had this radio for 2 years. It is a very, very lovely receiver. I mean, the receiver, I've listened to a lot of receivers, and this receiver is extremely quiet. In fact, when you have no signal coming in, you have to check to see if it's connected. It's very, very quiet. It's a pleasure to operate. It's very small. It's actually smaller than an IC7300. So we're running an off-center fed dipole that was manufactured in the States by a company called RadioWorks, and it is off-center fed and an unusual design as far as how it's fed, and that's at about 60 feet above the ground, Jim. A KC9VKV from N1LQ. I hope you copy okay.
Roger, Dave, copying just beautiful. I'm using a Milford SDR, and you're look to be about 15 over on Milford, so just beautiful. Your EQ curve, even though that mic might be less expensive than some, I would get the Gorilla Tape and taper down, because it's exactly what you need. I wouldn't really change that. You just sounded really nice, and if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. Roger?
Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. Roger?
Yes, Jim, thank you so much for that offer. I have never heard this radio recorded before, so I don't know really what it sounds like, so I'll look forward to seeing that on YouTube. Thank you very much for your time today. It's a great service, and we appreciate your help. KC9VKV from N1LQ. Good weekend to you, my friend. We'll talk again soon.
Roger, Roger, Dave, 73, sir. You have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend. If you get a chance, join us next Friday. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
You want to check out, give me a shout.
This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Net, and we're just checking here on our Rochester SDR. It seems to be not working at the moment, so let me bring that up. Let's see here. We'll see how that goes. And we're on 7185 today. And my pen won't... my stylus won't activate that. There we go. That's weird. 7185. Enter. Looks like it. Hello, check 1 2 3 4 5. Rochester, New York, check 1 2 3 4 5.
Check 1 2 3 4 5.
Well, there it is. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Net. We record now live till 5. So if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Radio you want to check out, give me a shout. November 9er, Oscar Papa Papa.
A copy November 9er. Come back slowly phonetically with that call sign again.
Slowly phonetically with that call sign again. November 9er, Oscar Papa Papa.
Copy that, Oscar Papa Papa. Is that a Roger?
Oscar Papa Papa. Is that a Roger? Roger, Roger. November 9er, Oscar Papa Papa. Oscar Papa Papa.
Roger, Roger, Oscar Papa Papa. Now what I want you to do is, why don't you give me about 10 seconds about your antenna. Tell me about your antenna in 10 seconds. And let me look around and see if I can find a better path for us, Roger.
See if I can find a better path for us, Roger. This is my test call. Jamboree on the air. We just got the equipment set up in a little campground in Illinois. Plano, Illinois. USL.
All right, I've got you on my local antenna, Oscar Papa Papa. And what I want you to do is tell me first your name and your location, Roger.
Roger, name is Jason. Jason, we're in Plano, Illinois. Plano, Illinois.
Roger, Roger, Jason. And what radio are you running today, sir?
We
using an FT897, this is barefoot, no bells and whistles today. This is a pure field use.
Roger, Jason. I'd be interested in our setup procedure. It starts with you double checking to be sure you're in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode. At 100 to 29 on your transmit bandpass, and if you're unsure about that, why don't you just make a note to check that at your leisure. I want to be in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode. Roger?
Oh, roger that. I know radiographically I'm set up in an absolute horrible location, really low band by a river. And my little PM5K here tells me my SWR is beautiful, and I'm running advertised power out the battery back, so this is doing me pretty good.
Alrighty, Jason, then I want you to go to your compressor, onboard compressor, and set it at a 3 on and add a 3 on your compressor. Roger?
Roger, I'm not sure where the compressor is in the drop-down menu.
Alrighty, sounds pretty good, right? Like it is for the moment. Do you know how to bring your ALC meter up?
Of course not. I don't do a whole lot with the bells and whistles in this radio. It typically works for me pretty good out of the box, so it came out of the box, 15 years ago maybe.
Well, maybe, Jason, it's time to look in the box. Well, I'm not really in the box as such, not with a screwdriver, but into the settings, you might help the performance of that. Right now, your audio sounds pretty mid-rangey. There's not a lot of tops, not a lot of bottoms, but it's very mid-rangey. What kind of mic are you running there, Jason?
I'm using the Yaesu MH31 that came with the radio.
All right, now I know you don't know how to do this, but do you know how to get to your equalization page on that radio?
Of course not.
All right, let me give you some notes. I'll give you some notes, and then you can find things at your leisure. So the first note is to check your transmit bandpass mode. We want to be in the wide mode, 100 to 2900. So that's note number 1. Transmit bandpass mode is 100 to 2900. Then we move to the setup, and the setup is compression on at a 3. Compression on at a 3. And then we move to our ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you say the magic word audio, spoken as you would speak any other word in a QSO, don't stress it, just say it, and as you say it, adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is running 2/3. Audio, and adjust mic gain until your ALC is running 2/3. Roger?
Roger that. I'll have to look up how to do all that stuff. But no, I thought I'm also only kicking with 20 watts at the moment too. Like I said, I'm insinuating very awesome. My little meter says I'm hitting 1.3 today.
Roger. Now, is there a reason that you're doing that low power?
Because that's all the battery pack will handle. We are at Jamboree on the air station, Joda Boy Scout station. We're just setting up, and you were the first station I heard, and I waited to get my QSO in for a test call, and I think it's going so far so good for the night.
Yes, sir. Now, I'll give you one more note. And that pertains to your equalizer. And what you want to do is make sure that everything between 400 cycles and 1.6K are in the flat mode. You don't want to cut or boost anything through that mid-range. You want to keep that mid-range from 400 cycles to 1.6K. You want to keep all that flat. And then you want to go maybe on that top range. What you have before that is maybe 2.4, 2.7 is the ideal frequency. 2.7K plus 4 clicks boost. And I know you can't write all that down, but I hope you can. 2.7K, 4 clicks boost. And that should put you in pretty good stead. Roger?
Oh, roger that. I'll be sure to look all that up when I get back back to home. I'm out camping for the weekend. Like I said, it's a Boy Scout event.
Roger, Roger. Well, let me say 73 to you there, Jason. And if you want to hear your radio, if you happen to be by a computer or whatever, by noon tomorrow, we'll have this uploaded on a YouTube search. So it's KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook on a YouTube search, and that'll bring you up on this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Oh, Roger, Roger. I'll be able to look at that Sunday when we get back out to work. I appreciate you coming back and
Roger, Roger, Jason. Well, let me say 73 to you, sir. I just ran around the horn trying to pick you up on one of the other SDRs who were running Milford, Pennsylvania, Atlanta, Georgia, Rochester, New York, and Arlington, Virginia, and I had no copy on any of those, but I did have you on my local 10-foot vertical magnetic loop, and I have 3 of those, one at 0 degrees and one at 90 degrees and one at 134 degrees, and I run them as a scanner antenna so I can on a rotary switch, so I can run through those and see what's hot and what's not. So let me say 73 to you, Jason. You have a great afternoon. Enjoy your outing, and if you get a chance, join us next Friday. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Fox 9, Hotel Sierra.
Hotel Sierra Station, come back slowly with your call sign, please.
Kilo Foxtrot 9, Hotel Sierra.
0 Foxtrot 9, Hotel Sierra, and what's the name?
Kilowatt Foxtrot 9, Hotel Sierra. Name is Randy in Conover, North Carolina.
Roger, Randy, and the call is Kilo Foxtrot 9, Hotel Sierra. Is that a Roger?
That is a Roger. Holy smoke, horseshoes, and some other adjectives that have been used.
Yeah, Roger, Randy. And what's your location, sir?
I am in Conover, North Carolina.
All righty, and what radio are you running today, Randy?
Today we're on an old Flex 5000A. One of the first ones that they came out with. Still has the 3 ports on the back and only use the 3rd port for 6 meters. So it's been around a while, but it seems to still work well.
Roger, Roger, Randy. Well, if you would, sir, give me about 10 seconds. Tell me about your antenna system, and I'll look around and see if I can find a better path for us, Roger.
Okay, Jim. This is Kilo Fox 9, Hotel 9, Hotel Sierra, KF9HS. Have a ZS6 BKW up about 45 feet on one end and about 25 feet on the other, out to the trees here in the backyard. Just got it up in the air and got it going here in the last few days, and getting back on the air after moving here from down in Florida. So we'll send it back to you. KC9VKV, KF9HS.
Roger, Roger, Randy. Well, I found you down in Georgia. You're about 17 over the Georgia SDR noise level, so you just got a beautiful signal down in Georgia, Roger.
SDR noise level, so you just got a beautiful signal down in Georgia, Roger.
Well, thank you, Jim. You are at this point about 10 over, and of course have that good audio.
Thank you, Randy. We have some person that's very, well, should I say, well, I shouldn't even say that. Gosh, I wish they would develop a little bit better manners, though. But anyway, Randy, you're sounding really good, sir. Again, now that I got a good copy on you, why don't you tell me the best thing you like about your Flex 5000?
Tell me the best thing you like about your Flex 5000.
Oh, what I like about the Flex 5000 is the receiver, and it's very quiet, very adjustable, and I guess I also like having the point and click with the mouse. I have a rollerball mouse here. I can set it on my leg and
just roll around on the screen and make adjustments. I should say we're doing about, the old AL800 is doing about 750 watts right now.
Yes, sir, Randy, I'm looking at your audio, and you're looking to be pretty unprocessed. We can fatten you up quite a bit, and very clean audio. It starts with recognizing the fact that you want that radio to perform its best, so that would be in the 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode, Roger.
To 2900 transmit bandpass mode, Roger.
Okay, I'm actually in the 200 to 29 right now, so you think I need to go down 100?
Yes, sir. 100 to 2900 is what I recommend, sir.
Yes, sir. 100 to 2900 is what I recommend, sir.
Main thing is that 2900, we can always fake the bottom end through EQ, but once you start rolling, 2900 off, it's very hard to get that back through EQ. So we want to be 100 to 2900 if we can, V, Roger.
We want to be 100 to 2900 if we can, V, Roger.
Yeah, that's where she's at now. I just dialed it down to there.
Yes, sir. And so then it would be a compressor on at a 3, and begin a setup procedure, compression on at a 3. It's a token amount, something you'll never hear on the air, but it helps us with our 3 dB dynamic range at the end. So compression on at a 3, Roger.
Dynamic range at the end. So compression on at a 3, Roger.
Compression is on at a 3 right now.
Yes, sir. Now move to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you say the magic word audio, stretch the word out, use it as a human signal generator, and as you say that word, you've got your mic gain in hand, and adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is running at 2/3. And we used to say mid-range, mid-level to 2/3, but this way it's so accurate that you can just 2/3 on that mic gain with the word audio. Roger?
2/3 on that mic gain with the word audio. Roger?
Okay, audio. There we are. About 2/3.
Yes, sir. It's so simple. We used to say talk fast, but that word is just such a beautiful word for setting your ALC. So now, gosh, if you would, tell me the best thing you like about amateur radio. Let me listen to you a little bit more.
About amateur radio. Let me listen to you a little bit more.
Okay, Jim. Meeting people, talking to different people, and I'm not much of a DX worker. I used to work a lot of states, but just enjoy the hobby, enjoy getting in here and listening, and then making a few comments every once in a while. KC9VKV, KF9HS.
Roger, Randy, and listening to your audio, you could use a little more top end. Now, I'm not sure exactly what kind of EQ you have, but if you happen to have a 2.7K, that would be very interesting. That's our point of contention there. 2.7K plus 3 clicks boost would be just perfect with a width of 4 if you have a shaping capability.
Perfect with a width of 4 if you have a shaping capability.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what I had to do. I have a 2K and a 4K, so I moved them both up a little bit. So this is the 2K and the 4K moved up.
All righty, Randy. Let's take that 2K back to flat, and let's use the 2.4K. Leave it where it is. Do you have something above 2.4K?
Leave it where it is. Do you have something above 2.4K?
No, what I have is a 2K and a 4K and an 8K and a 16K.
I see. Okay. Yes, I understand. Let's see. You're there at, what was that, 2K, 4K? Is that the way that goes?
You're there at, what was that, 2K, 4K? Is that the way that goes?
Yes, 2K and then a 4K.
Okay, take your 4K to +5. 4K to +5. Your 2K, I would pull that back to flat. Maybe +2. Try +2 because I don't want you to go mid-rangey, right? So we take that 2K back to +2 and that 4K to +5, and let me listen to you.
And that 4K to +5, and let me listen to you.
Okay, we brought the 2K down and moved the 4K factor maxed out on the 4K right now.
Okay, take that 2K back to flat. Take 2K back to flat. So you should be flat from 2K all the way down to 400 cycles. You should be flat. Roger?
2K all the way down to 400 cycles. You should be flat. Roger?
Well, I have the 1K up a little bit. You want me to drop the 1K?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The thing is, you want to keep your mid-ranges flat. That's the whole idea about an EQ, is to strike a balance from the top to the mid-range and the bottom to the mid-range. And if you boost the mid-range, it's so much harder for the top and the bottom to catch up. So we suggest all things from 400 cycles to 1.6K be flat, and that would include, in your case, that to 2K. So it should be 2K down to 400 cycles should be flat. Roger?
It should be 2K down to 400 cycles. Should be flat. Roger?
Okay, I dropped the 1K down and dropped the 2K down, and we have the 4K maxed out right now, which is at 15 dB. And that's all there is on the high end with this microphone.
Yes, sir. Now, I want you to go back to your ALC and double-check your level, because we did some substantial EQing. And so when you do that, you need to go back to your ALC and double-check your level. It's audio might gain to 2/3 on your ALC meter.
It's audio might gain to 2/3 on your ALC meter.
Okay, ALC meter, audio. Yep, we're still there about 2/3.
Yes, sir. Yeah, because when you start pulling those mid-ranges, sometimes you can, your level will fall off. And the same thing about the bass. If you're cranking like 4 dB bass boost, your ALC level will show elevated. But I think you're in pretty good shape. I'd like to hear you just a little bit more. Tell me, let's see here, again about your antenna system, and let me hear you.
Again about your antenna system, and let me hear you.
Okay, Jim. Antenna system here is a ZS6 BKW dipole. One end's about 45 feet off the ground. The other end is about 25 foot off the ground. It's out here in the pine trees and the oak trees and hid from the neighbors. I did have one neighbor ask about the wire, and I told him that if you put wire up in the trees, the UFOs will not bother you. Of course, he looked a little strange at me, and he goes, "Yeah, right." And I go, "Okay, you got me. It's an antenna." So we haven't had any trouble from anybody else here. KC9VKV, KF9HS.
Roger, Randy. Now, on your low frequency, your bottom end, your bass there, do you have something around 200 cycles, 190, 200 cycles?
You have something around 200 cycles, 190, 200 cycles?
Yes, I do.
All right, you try that at a +2 from where you are. +2 clicks additional bass EQ at 200 or 190 cycles, whichever that is.
EQ at 200 or 190 cycles, whichever that is.
Okay, it's 250 cycle. We moved it up 2 clicks. We were at -3, and we're at +3 now. +3 dB.
So you went from a where to a what? Repeat that again. I'm sorry, I didn't copy you well.
You went from a where to a what? Repeat that again. I'm sorry, I didn't copy you well.
Okay, I went from -3 dB to +3, which is about what it does with the click.
Yes, sir. It sounds pretty good. I was just thinking about a 3 dB boost, but that sounds nice. You have, a little bit more bottom end and a nice top end, so I would call it close enough. Get that duct tape out and taper it down. And if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Okay, Jim. Well, I appreciate it. It stayed nice and clear. It didn't get too booming.
No, it's clear as a tack. Just beautiful.
No, it's clear as a tack. Just beautiful.
Okay, Jim. Well, hey, I appreciate it. 73s, take care out there. KC9VKV, KF9HS.
Roger, Roger, Randy. Now, what you could do is leave your ALC meter out. It'll give you something to do during your QSO to be able to look at your ALC meter as you speak. And the idea is to develop a relationship between your ALC meter, and that you can control that with your voice to keep it right in the sweet spot. So if you just keep that ALC meter out and look at it as you dialogue, and the idea is to keep that meter right in the sweet spot. Roger?
And the idea is to keep that meter right in the sweet spot. Roger?
Okay, sounds good. I usually run with the ALC meter up, or the SWR meter, and then, of course, have the watt meter on top and the signal meter on top there. I have this meter going. Good, Jim.
Yes, sir, Randy. 73, sir. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend, and that's about going to do us for now. I see on the clock on the wall there's a dead fly. Ooh, so we got to get out of here. If you we're involved in the broadcast and want to hear it, if you go to YouTube, do a call letter search KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That will take you to this recording on the YouTube search, and we'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. So we'll say 73 all. We've enjoyed it. Hope you have. And this is KC9VKV returning this frequency back to normal amateur radio use. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, clear.
Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, clear.
9 VKV, Whiskey 4, Delta, India, Delta. Hello, Jim.
Howdy there. What's that call sign?
Howdy there. What's that call sign?
W4 DID, Whiskey 4, Delta, India, Delta.
W4 did, Roger.
W4 did, Roger.
Roger.
And what's the name there, did?
Name is Ralph.
And what's the name there, did?
The handle is Ralph in Crossville, Tennessee.
Roger, Ralph in Tennessee. And what radio is that?
Roger, Ralph in Tennessee. And what radio is that?
It's Crossville, about 100 miles straight east of Nashville.
Tennessee, Roger.
Tennessee, Roger.
Yep, Tennessee.
Roger. And what radio are you running, sir?
Roger. And what radio are you running, sir?
We're using the Yaesu FTDX 101 Delta, driving the Yaesu Quadra amplifier that I've had about 14 years. Antenna is a 3-element stepper at 55 feet. We're on top of a 2,000-foot mountain here. And we're using a RE20 broadcast mic.
Roger. I'm copying you down in Georgia. You're about 20 over down in Georgia, so I've got a pretty good copy on you there. If you would be interested in a setup procedure, first thing is to take a note that we want to be in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode. 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode. If you're not familiar with that, just take a note that we want to be in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode. Roger?
100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode. Roger?
Yeah, we set this thing all up when I got it. I've had it about 2 years or so now. And the age here is going to be 80 next week. And we've been on the air since September of 1958.
Yes, sir, Ralph. Roger, Roger. Well, our setup procedure, is just verifying a lot of stuff. We're looking to try to achieve a 3 dB dynamic range at the end. Unprocessed audio is around 30% of average peak modulation. So, our setup, we move it up to about 80 to 85%. The words are crystal clear. The dynamic range moves from unprocessed, which is a 10 dB signal, to a 3 dB signal through a combination of the compressor on at a 3, which is something you'll never hear on the air, but it helps us arrive at that 3 dB dynamic range. So processor on at a 3, then move to your ALC, and as you say the magic word audio, spoken just as you would speak any other word in the Qso, just audio, kind of drag it out a little bit, use it as the human test tone. You have a mic gain control in one hand, looking at your ALC meter in the other, and adjust that mic gain into your ALC is running 2/3. Roger?
The mic gain into your ALC is running 2/3. Roger?
Yeah, very good. Yeah, this one here is, it's not anywhere near, I got it on 3, and it's down there at the bottom. It's wiggling every little bit.
Yes, sir. We're just looking for just a bare minimum of compression, just a 3, a third of the compression capabilities, usually a 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100. It just depends on how your input to your compressor is labeled. 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100. Roger?
3 is labeled. 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100. Roger?
Yeah, I've got it on 3 right now, and the ALC wiggles about every couple of peak words or something like that. I've got it set on 3, so we set this up quite some time ago with this microphone and my voice, and I've had very, very excellent reports on it. Over.
Yes, sir. So that compressor on at a 3, and then move to your ALC, and what we're looking for there is about a 2/3 reading on your ALC meter as you say the word audio, and the mic gain in hand to put it right on 2/3 on that ALC meter. Roger?
Right on 2/3 on that ALC meter. Roger?
Well, mine doesn't do that. If I do that, not quite straight up. It's comes out at about 11 o'clock.
Yes, sir. That looked pretty good there. The whole idea is to get fat, but clean. No bending of the words, and that's what happens at a 3 dB dynamic range. It's clean words, but loud. Now, if you were to continue on with collapsing your dynamic range, you could go to a 2 dB or 1 dB. But what happens when you pass 3 dB dynamic range is the words start to blur, and you actually are in a counterproductive mode when the words start to blur. What you want is intelligibility. Roger?
When the words start to blur, what you want is intelligibility. Roger?
Well, just out of curiosity, currently my mic gain is set at the 20 position, the number 20 position, from 0 to I think it's 0 to 100. I think it goes. But I'm sitting currently at the 20 position. Does it look full, or does it look too fat for you?
I'm seeing you shoot through your 0 level, which indicates that your limiter is not holding it. So you probably could go up to a 30. Let me just hear you at a 30 and see what you're having. I'm looking at your signal on a VU meter, and I've set the VU meter for 0 level on your peaks, and I'm seeing you shoot through that 0 level to a +2, which is indicative that your limiter is not hanging in there, and that sometimes means that you have low level going into your limiter. Roger?
Sometimes means that you have low level going into your limiter. Roger?
Yeah, okay. Well, it's currently sitting at 20, and as we go, let me go up to 30. Okay, there's 30. 1, 2, audio. What do you think?
I think 30 is fine. Sounds clean, and your dynamic range looks to be more in order there at 3 dB. Roger?
Your dynamic range looks to be more in order there at 3 dB. Roger?
Yeah, I've got it set at 3 dB right now.
Okay, now that dynamic range is not something that you can set just like that. It has to do with the limiter functioning against your mic gain control. That's and along with your compressor, and that's how you get to a 3 dB dynamic range. It's nothing that you can actually set, a control that you can set your dynamic range. Roger?
A control that you can set your dynamic range. Roger?
Yeah, very good. Well, I've had a lot of people look at this thing, and everybody seems to think that it sounds pretty decent. That's one of the reasons I did go a little bit higher than most guys do on a microphone. And these RE20s are a bit on the spendy side. And it's actually the thing that motivated me was Rush Limbaugh. And I've always wanted to try and find one of those RE20s gold-plated, but I think he might have had that one done specially.
Yes, sir. Now, what you might want to do is go to your EQ and crank in about 2 dB additional treble EQ to give you just a little bit more articulation. Your band pass is nice. The frequency range is nice. You need just a tad more articulation to bring out the words in the syllabic range. So that would be plus 3 clicks at 2.7 K if you have that. If not, we'll have to work it out.
K if you have that. If not, we'll have to work it out.
Should have everything flat from 400 cycles to 1.6 K. Everything should be flat in the mid-range.
1.6 K. Everything should be flat in the mid-range.
Roger, Ralph, still have a copy?
Roger, Ralph, still have a copy?
Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, Friday afternoon, Qso-Vlog net. W4DID, Ralph, down Tennessee, you still have a copy?
Ralph, down Tennessee, you still have a copy?
Well, for whatever reason, Ralph is unable to come back. So, Ralph, let me say 73 to you, sir. Last thought was plus 3 clicks at 2.7 K with the 4, if you have that. If not, work it out for that plus 3. We're looking for a little more treble brightness for your articulation. So let me jump out of here. We've got to say 73 all, and hope you've enjoyed the show. We have, and we'll be saying 73, and returning this frequency back to normal amateur radio use. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, clear.
This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, clear.
Yeah, sorry, Jim, I had bumped my dial. And I know you wanted to get out of here, so we'll catch you on here again sometime. Thanks, W4DID.
Roger, Ralph. That last thought was some additional treble EQ just to help your articulation aspects, and that would be 3 clicks treble boost from where you are at about 2.7 K width of 4, Roger.
From where you are at about 2.7 K width of 4, Roger.
Yeah, I'm at 2.7 now, and everybody that knows my voice naturally says it sounds like me, so I guess we'll leave her alone. Have fun, my friend. See you later. W4DID.
Yes, sir, Ralph. 73, sir. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. This is KC9VKV, returning the frequency back to normal amateur radio use. KC9VKV, clear.
Back to normal amateur radio use. KC9VKV, clear.